Today we are here again to talk about the popular topic, which is threat hunting. We have done quite a lot of research, quite a lot of activity, and quite a lot of series already about the threat hunting. So if you see about our previous work, so we have done quite a lot of work, but this time this is a pretty new stuff, so we are going to talk about a lot of things. So in specific, threat hunt is always in a full demand in cybersecurity market, right? So this is probably another high time when we talk about how to create a hypothesis, and I'll rightly jump into the actual content that I am about to show. So we are going to talk about FIN7, which is not a very new threat actor. It's a kind of old threat actor. So we are going to cover the tracks of FIN7. We are going to see how FIN7 process flows actually work out, and how to cover each and every track if you start from very beginning, where it's mapping with MITRE framework, and then talking about the different aspect of the process in terms of how it is spawning up a command line, how it is gaining access to your system, how it is moving laterally to your system. So we would try to drill down on the hypothesis from a CTI report, and after that we are going to hunt for the FIN7, basically covering all of the tracks in Sentinel. Okay, so when I say Sentinel, obviously it is Microsoft Sentinel. Okay, so if you see my current screen, so here what exactly I am doing here, this is Intel 471 threat repository. Okay, people might be already knowing about it, so I can leave the link in the description, but Intel 471 is very popular. Okay, so this particular link talks about the uncovering of this particular threat actor. So we are going to highlight few of the things from here. Okay, so please walk me through with it. So as you see over here, so it is already saying that the FIN7 actor is not something new, right? So it is saying us that it is it's active since 2015. Okay, which that's the reason I told you it's a pretty old actor, right? And FIN7 activity, the ransomware strains, right? So there is a similar pattern when we check with FIN7 with REvil, DarkSide, Black Matter, Alpha, Black Basta, Maze, Ryuk, all of those activities, right? So these are something like correlated kind of things, and when we say that these are the threat actors which are associated with FIN7, there may be some common terminology, some common attack vectors which we can directly hunt for, right, when we talk about the FIN7. Okay, so now what else we have, right? So if we jump little bit bottom section, so as you see, we are talking about some enterprise MITRE mapping already over here, right? So it talks about the enterprise level mapping over here, how it access boot or log on auto start scripts, okay, and how it hides within the startup folder, right? So this is one of the TTP that of course you can create a hypothesis against which. So whenever there is a registry key, right, there is a registry key which gets created, and it's create something within the startup folder, right, which you can target basically, right? This is not very unique. This is very I would say it's a common kind of threat actor, but anyway we can target that, right? So now if we scroll down, so this particular piece over here, it's kind of coal mine for us. Okay, so what is this, guys, right? So obviously you would know this is run keys, right? So not pretty much nothing new for all of our security investigator, right? So now what is basically doing, it is creating sch tasks.exe, and it is moving a create command, okay, and it is pushing an intel, and it is saying that to create wscript.exe. Okay, not only that, after that it is moving something like to your user directory, creating a folder, and intel something arbitrary something .vbs, right? This is directly linked to a IOC over here, right? So when we are doing threat hunting, obviously we do a lot of threat hunting using hypothesis based hypothetical threat hunting and all those stuff, right? But also there are some low hanging fruits which we can target, of course, right, every time. Now if you see point number 2 and point number 3, where it is creating a registry key again within the run keys, which we have seen over here as well. And again it is creating a LNK file. What is a LNK file, guys? You all know, right? Comment me and let me know in the description section what do you mean by LNK files, right? So all those things are somehow, you know, quick low-hanging fruits for us. Okay, now if we scroll down over here, it is also telling us the hunt package. Okay, so what is this hunt package? Okay, so if you know, Intel 471 has taken over and done a collaboration partnership with Cyborg, right? So that is the thing. So they are providing this hunt package. So I'm not going to talk much about this hunt package because we are not promoting anything over here, right? So I'll scroll down a little bit. I don't really need this, but if you see this particular area, right? So they have been they have given a very detailed Splunk query. Okay, and the index is sysmon, right? So they are basically targeting a sysmon data set over here. Okay, and target object in, so as you see what they are basically trying, to look for these run keys, right, that we have just seen right now, and they are looking for a target object. Okay, that means whenever you are updating your run keys, there should be a target object, right? And in the target object, just exactly the way we see the startup commands, right? And there are some other things also in terms of the load script and shell script, OneDrive keys, you know, search indexer.exe. And the way the hunt is done, it's basically with some data sets on Splunk, right? So this is one aspect of looking into it, right? So if I little bit move on and just show you the MITRE framework for FIN7. Again, FIN7, it's not something new, right? And there are some already associated groups also that you can see over here in the description, right? And the techniques used and all the other features also, it's quite comprehensive guide over here. Okay, so what I have done after, you know, ingesting all of this schema, all of this pattern, right? So I have created a comprehensive, and our team, Black Pearl Threat Research team, has created a comprehensive guide in terms of a process flow, process overview, right? Which we can quickly review, and then we can directly jump into uncovering each of the tracks using Sentinel. Okay. So here we go, guys. So this is basically uncovering the FIN7 track. Okay, I think I need to move my face from here. Okay, so let me quickly do that. Okay, yeah, I think now you can see everything. Yes, you should be able to see most of the things. Okay, so now what is happening, guys, over here? Okay, so this is basically the attack flow chart as it is written over here. Okay, now the thing is that, first thing first, what it is doing. Okay, so we are trying to map it with the MITRE execution technique. First thing, we have done the initial access, right? So how the initial access has been done? After a lot of research, we identified that mostly in most of the cases, the initial access is being done via suspicious PowerShell execution. After that, there is a payload, okay, which is getting dropped on the endpoint. Okay, once the payload is getting dropped, using that payload, it is doing the reconnaissance activity within your network. Okay, so once that is done, and after you have done the quite bit of recon, there is a Vim backup database, okay, which is if you have that Vim kind of software, right, you can quickly Google what Vim is actually all about. So this tries to capture the credentials from your Vim backup database. Okay, and once it is done, it maintains a persistence within the registry that we have also seen within the run keys, just in the CTI section, right? And after that, it does the lateral movement. Okay, this is the whole attack flow, how basically FIN7 threat actor is executing. So now if we try to really quickly convert this attack flow into the process flow, okay, This is very important, guys, right? So please pay close attention here. So cmd.exe is the first target file. From cmd we have seen PowerShell is being executed. Now PowerShell download the payload. Okay, if you go back to the previous screen, you would see that after delivery there is a payload which is getting dropped, right? So via PowerShell this command is getting downloaded. Okay, something reflects.ps4. okay, this is getting downloaded. After that it's execute that particular payload. Okay, diceloader.exe. So once the diceloader.exe gets executed, it start the reconnaissance. Remember, after delivery we have seen the reconnaissance attempt. So in the reconnaissance it looks for the current running tasks that is present on your system, and also it looks for ipconfig, netstat, all of those commands. Okay, and remember we have also seen vim backup. So it, after all of this reconnaissance is done, it looks for the vim backup.mdf file for your credentials so that it can look over some credentials and stuff, and then it goes to modify your registry to maintain the persistence. Okay, so obviously as we have seen also just now, it modifies the registry in the current version. Okay, once it is done, it goes for lateral movement using host IP. So if you, let's say if your system host IP is something like this, 198.2.2. let's say 1. So what it will do, it will create a file as 198.2.2.1 and then .ps1. So it will create a file something like this as you see it over here, and it will try to do the lateral movement. Okay, so this is basically all about the process flow. Now let us do one thing. Let's not wait any further time on the theoretical junk. Let us quickly jump onto the technical section, and I will show you how basically you can write and convert this exact hypothetical analytical way into KQL queries, the custom query language, and you can hunt the data set in Sentinel. Okay, I am here in my azureportal.com, and I'll go inside. I'm going to enter Sentinel, and of course I'll look for the Sentinel which I have the data with me. Okay, and then I'll go inside the logs wherever I have my custom logs, all of the stuff that's ingested, and this is basically the place where we run all of the KQL queries, right? So now what exactly we need to do, we need to parse our first table name. Okay, basically nothing but the schema name where we have ingested all of our data. So this is nothing but our custom data set that we have ingested. So we'll quickly run, but in last 24 hours I may not have data. So let's switch it to the custom range 19 to 29th and then quickly run it. Yes, now as you see I have a few of the data over here already. Okay, so this is nothing but all of the custom logs on top of which we are going to hunt for now. Okay, so after we see that, we can decrease the time sets also. Okay, probably from last 2 days. Okay, so the data set will be little bit of smaller. So this is all just testing phase. Okay, so in hunt you can always keep on testing and keep on checking what is the data source and what exactly you need to do, right? So I'm checking just for one more day if I have. Yes, I have some of the logs with me, around 244 logs I have with me. Okay, so next stuff I will as you see over here in terms of the process flows. So you all know, right, command.exe has launched PowerShell, and it was part of initial access and suspicious PowerShell execution. Okay, so if I now try to quickly run down where clause, okay, and try to look for the event ID basically. Okay, so let me try it here real quick as where my screen might have been frozen for a little bit because it's very resource intensive process. Okay, and I need to target a particular event ID. Okay, where event ID equals 4688. Okay, that is weird. It didn't give me any results. Okay, maybe let's move the custom time range, but I recall that I have seen some of the logs. Okay, but yeah, let's try once more. Sometime it works like little crazy, so you need to be little patience while you are working with it. Maybe we can try out with process names, or maybe the target process name something. Yeah, maybe new process name. Okay, so let us try with new process name. Yeah, contains cmd.exe. Okay, because you remember cmd.exe was our first process that was launched. Okay, and we will move the dates a little bit longer. Cool. So we have only one event. Okay, now if we notice here, guys, okay, so event id was 4688, so I'll take the same event id 4688 and I'll run down the command. Okay, so pretty weird thing, right? Last time it didn't give me any result, but this time it gave me a hell lot of results. Okay, so I ran the I recall I ran the same thing, but sometime it works little bit crazy way. Okay, so now anyway, I got the result. So now event id I have over here with me, and then I know what is the event security level, basically severity level, all of our information, because this is just nothing but the process creation event. Okay, so now if you want to move, so basically you can check all of those activities, or otherwise you can directly now look for the process where command.exe was ran. Okay, and then followed by the tracks, of course. Okay, so now let us look for another clause. Okay, of course I'll look for the project, new process name, process id, so let's, because I'm just trying to do a table. Okay, because I don't need so much of information. Okay, because there are a lot of tables, a lot of columns which are empty. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Anything I need to check? Yeah, this may be a good one. Okay. Yeah, so I have a trimmed down result with me now. Okay, so where I have exactly what I want, right? What I wanted. Okay, so now I have process name, process IDs, parent process IDs, command line, and of course I have also with me the account name also. Okay, so now we can move ahead one extra step. Okay, and we can see what are the other things that has been launched over here. Okay, so if you notice, I am seeing a command.exe, I'm seeing a dice loader. Remember, dice loader was there somewhere in our process list in our previous theoretical example that I was talking about, right? But I'll not directly jump into that, but I can check for the command line as well. Basically, what is the command line that has been used to launch this particular thing? Okay, yeah, this is the same thing. Just quickly verify. Yes, command.exe, PowerShell.exe, which launched, and after that diceloader.exe. So now in my case I am seeing command.exe, diceloader.exe. Okay, I don't see direct new process creation as PowerShell. Okay, so maybe it is hidden somewhere in the command line section. Okay, so yeah, exactly, this is the thing I was talking about, guys, right? So if you notice here, I'll just quickly want to highlight this portion. So if you notice here, command.exe has launched with PowerShell.exe. That means command.exe has launched PowerShell.exe with a noip, okay, and hidden command. Okay, so which is matching with our hypothesis. Okay, so this is fair enough. Maybe we can move forward. Now what I can do, I can basically look for a where clause. Okay, and then I can give a new process name contains command.exe. Okay, and the process has been launched from PowerShell. Okay, basically command line should have PowerShell.exe, which should return me only one result. Yeah, bingo. So this is basically, you know, trimming down. So now in this particular data set, I just want to point something over for you guys. Okay, so this particular data set, okay, might have not a very lengthy data, okay, but when you look for, okay, when you look for some other streams or some other data set, there might be a lot more data sets coming into that, right? So you need to be patient with what activity you have been doing. Okay, so now let us quickly move on and let us see what's next we can uncover from this particular data set, because we have seen there are a lot of other activities also. Okay, yeah, I'm just expanding the command line so that you can have a full visibility what is this exact command line means. If you are only interested in command line, you can do a project and you can again put down that particular command line also into the phase. Okay, but notice this thing, guys. Okay, so this particular thing is dropping a ps command. Okay, so as we have seen in our first occurrence, there was a machine name and there should be a ps name, okay, or machine IP, and there should be a PS name that should come up, right? So exactly that thing is happening. So now we can probably have proven one step of hypothesis that we have seen a command line which contains PowerShell.exe. Not only that, it is creating or it is downloading a PowerShell which is looking like a, you know, a crazy or looking like something anomalous, right? So maybe we can now move ahead and we can see what we can uncover next. Okay, so now what we can also do, we can quickly add the time generated command over here. Okay, so that we can see when is the log basically happened for this particular processes, so that you have a better idea when we move ahead and when we now go for the next step, basically to identify when the other activities has happened. Okay, so let us now move. We will put down the same data set again, and basically now we are trying to correlate the activity. Okay, we'll know the parent process ID is this, command line is this. Yeah, okay. So now basically I need to look for some reconnaissance activity and dice loader that we have seen, the connection between them I need to establish if I want to prove that my hypothesis is fully proven. Okay, so I'm just thinking how I can establish the full fact. Okay, let us try this, where event ID equals 104. I'm not sure if I'll get something. Yes, I got something, 4104. Okay, so basically now basically I'm just trying to look for 4104 events. Okay, nothing else. Okay, but in this particular thing I see a script blocked execution. Okay, fair enough. Now I would look for the host application. If I can point down something which I have seen in the first iterance. Okay, now I'm just trying to look for this particular host application. If it is same, okay, download string, it has been stripped down. Okay, okay, but if you notice, this particular area is also pointing towards the same download string that has happened in our previous schema, right? In our previous state, right? So we can kind of correlate that when that script block execution has happened in terms of the audit success, around the same point in time our process has been created. Okay, because this was our only itineraries, right? So host ip.ps and then looking for that particular script. So now basically I'm trying to look for more evidences where I can map this dice loader.exe basically. Okay, Okay guys, so I'll just quickly give you a small trick in Custo. If you want, specifically in Sentinel, if you want to run commands by chronological order, that means one command one by one, so just give one liner space over here. Okay, so if you see in my screen, so what I have done, after this command I have given this much space, and then I am executing one command. Okay, so if I want to run one command in chronological order, I leave this line and I'll execute from here. Okay, so what will happen, so for this one it is considering only this when I hit the run command. Okay, it will not consider this one. Okay, so this is one small trick that you can use so that you don't lose whatever activity that you have been already doing. Okay, so now let us look for the next step of the commands. Okay, so which will help you to understand what exactly the things are happening. Okay, okay, so now we will look for the same table once again. Demo custom data sets, and we will look for again where clause where event ID is 4688. Event ID equals 4688. So this time it will only consider the 4688 event types. It will not consider any other commands that we have ran just previously in the previous checks. Okay, so and also we can do another where clause. Okay, because we are trying to look for the new process names. Okay, and we are interested into looking for where it is dice loader, it's loading, because we are trying to establish that factor. Okay, okay, let us see. I'm hoping I should get some results. Yeah, awesome. So I see one results. Okay, process creation event and dice loader event has been created. Okay, and it obviously, of course, if you see, I can also run the same project command, so I don't lose what I want to look for. Okay, in the trails of data. Awesome. So if you see the new process, it is loading under temp location, and the process parent ID is 5388. I can quickly look for what is the parent process ID, because 5388 should be command line. Okay, as per our hypothesis. Okay, so we'll do the same demo custom table where process ID equals 5388, so that I can trace back whether it's command line or not. Okay. Okay. Okay, I have some hits where it is. Yeah. So if you see, the new process name has command.exe. Okay, so that means it proves that, okay, the same command line which we have seen where it was executing the processes in terms of PowerShell, the same process has launched the dice loader. Okay, so one step of our hypothesis is proven true. Okay, so all it is linked up. So now one step ahead, so what now we need to look for? Now we need to look for the data stream, basically where we can map out the reconnaissance activity. Okay, so far we haven't seen any reconnaissance activity, right? So we were able to establish all of the tracks. Okay, but the reconnaissance activity, how after dice loader got executed and in between there has to be some activity that has happened. Okay, so now we will look for that particular reconnaissance activity. Let us quickly do that. So now what we will do, we will put down the same table over here and just copy paste. We can go for where clause same, process creation also, but we can directly hit for where the command line executed, but let us go one by one step by step basically. So event ID is again 4688. Okay, and where new process name equals, or it could be contains. Okay, or I can write in also, because if I want to look for multiple events. ipconfig. And what else was there? Task list something. I'll put a or I can completely do something like contains ipconfig just by trying with one. Or new process contains. Netstat or task list. Let's see. Okay, so we have one event over here, so where process creation is happening, and ipconfig, so basically the process name is ipconfig, which has been captured. Okay, we may not have everything, but we have one. ipconfig was launched, right? And if you see, we can of course we can do the project command again, but ipconfig.all were executed. Okay, this is some attempt of obviously the reconnaissance activity has been happening over here. Okay, so we are able to map the reconnaissance also over here. Okay, so probably the last step where we need to check for the Vim backup. Okay, and basically the time frame of the activity when it has happened. Okay, so let us quickly do that. Again, I'll put the same table. And what else? I can put the where clause, or I can put just like now the object or where clause. Object name contains Vim backup. Okay, I hope it works. Yeah, yes, it has a object name called Vim, and just if you put the timestamp here, guys. Okay, so it was quite relatable timestamp when it has happened. Okay, handle of the object has been requested. Okay, these all commands are empty. That's fine, but object name we see vim backup.mdf. Okay, exactly the same what we have observed in our process trees also. Okay, I'm just checking if I have anything else. Okay, and the last step we will do just to check for any registry modification within the same time interval. We can put down, we can use registry explorer.exe if that has been executed, or alternative way we can try with object name also, where registry or reg.exe has been executed. Okay, so there are a lot of options by which you can look for, or you can directly look for event IDs also, because event ID has been logged. Event ID generally logs 4663 for modification of a registry. Okay, so we can put down that. Yeah, so 46, yes, registry access event. Okay, so now once we have some amount of registry access, we can directly target what kind of registry modification has been happened over here. Okay, let us quickly do that. We'll put another where clause, where object name would contain registry. Is it small letter? Not sure, maybe we can try out, but it can have a capital letter also. Object name contains, yeah, I see here object, it's coming as a capital. Okay, so maybe we can do as a capital. Yeah, nothing is there. Okay, so we will do a capital. Okay, I hope it works. Yeah, so same thing anyway. So previous result was also given same, but just note the time. Okay, notice the time generated over here. Okay, so it is exactly similar time when the Vim backup was created, and after that the registry has been modified. Okay, so now if you see the registry modification, so this is basically the registry access. Okay, and also there would be, if you look for 4663 event, there are a lot of other artifacts also come along when the registry checks. So if you see the object name, so I would resume it is a run key. Yes, it's a run key that has been modified over here. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it, guys, right? So we were able to establish the fact. First, if I do a quick recap, first there was a command.exe which was launched. After that, PowerShell was called upon and it downloaded some crazy PS scripts, right? And after that, there is also a thing, diceloader.exe was executed. From there we are able to, at the very end we were able to also establish the fact where registry was modified. And in the meantime, we have also seen we didn't identify anything as like task list was called upon, but we have seen ipconfig was called upon. Okay, so all this activity has been happening maybe within just like 5 or 6 minutes of interval, very close gaps of the intervals, right? So this is the high level things by which you can hunt FIN7. Now if you are interested in more, this is just one example. In our recent threat hunt with Sentinel course, we have launched FIN7, we have shown Kimuski, we have shown Hafnium, and 2 more hypothesis based hunt, not covering threat actors. So we have covered 3 threat actors and we have also shown 2 hypothesis based hunt. Okay, if you are interested to join the course, it's not even it's even less than $30. Just click the link in the description box and you will be routed to the course from our academy. And if you want to learn Sentinel from scratch, right, from a beginner perspective, if you are not aware of the what are the things that happens behind Sentinel, we have a Sentinel study path for you as well, which covers for SOC analyst 101 and threat hunters, right? So which is, I think, even less than $50. You can subscribe that for the next link after the first one in the description box as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the session, and we will come up with more and more such more content in the YouTube. So till the time, stay safe and stay healthy.